Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing Thai prenuptial agreements. So with respect to this, premarital agreements generally they're signed prior to marriage. They require the signature and transparency of both parties. They can be a major benefit to those who are getting into a new marital relationship because it does provide full transparency at the outset, and it creates a framework of terms and conditions under which assets will be divided in the event of a marital estate dissolution. And this can provide a great deal of certainty from the outset of a given relationship as to what would be the outcome of a dissolution. And for many different reasons, this can be a major benefit. Now, that said, I've talked to a number of folks in the last couple of weeks about prenuptial agreements, and I've noticed that there seems to be a great deal of frustration on the other end of the conversation because folks don't seem to take into account notions of what we call conflict of laws and multi-jurisdictional issues. So, for example, family law in Thailand has different provisions as well as different formalities associated with not only marriage but possibly dissolution of marriage and the law pertaining thereto, whereas jurisdictions in the United States tend to be relatively uniform from one state to another, but the overall framework for family law, especially in the context of divorce, dissolution, and prenuptial agreements, the body of law regarding that type of thing can be very much, in some instances, different from what operates here in Thailand. And these conflicts, these differences between the laws of the two jurisdictions can cause issues down the road. This is why when you're talking to an attorney regarding prenuptial agreement drafting, you want to speak to someone who has pretty firm knowledge of how these things play out, especially in the context of sort of a Thai-American relationship, for example, because you want to talk to somebody who's actually seen how this works. Because look, one of the biggest problems I see out there for potential clients and things is getting yes to death. This is especially true when you get outside of U.S. jurisdiction, physically outside of U.S. jurisdiction, because unfortunately, over here in Southeast Asia, there's a number of people that are even just pretending to be lawyers. They're not even real lawyers. They have no qualifications, they've done no studying, they've done no, for lack of a better term, sort of apprenticeship under other lawyers where they actually learn the way the law works. They're just somebody who basically got on the internet and said, I'm a lawyer, and they oftentimes will make very simplistic, assertions regarding, how prenuptial agreements will play out in actual practice, how it will play out in the event of an actual divorce, and they don't know what they're talking about sometimes. And again, they'll often, where I run into real frustration from folks is where they've been told something that they really want to believe, and they're just being yes to death. They're just being told what they want to hear, so that basically, I think that practitioner, you can't even call them that person who's trying to get their money can get their money, give them a piece of paper that really isn't worth, much of anything to them, but that person got their money. That fly-by-night operator got their money, and they may feel good. It may give them peace of mind that they have this piece of paper, but when it really hits the fan, for lack of a better term, you're going to want something that actually has some strength behind it in terms of a document that's going to be recognized by a relevant court and going to be recognized in the context of the multiple jurisdictions that may be at play with regard to the document itself, as well as the conflict of law doctrines that may come into play when that document is being adjudicated by a court and being reviewed by a judge. So again, these are things you got to keep in mind, and it's a really good reason why you want to deal with somebody with legal professionals that have a good understanding of how international family law operates in practice.